Hello, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Janice.
Nice to see you, Rabbi Ari.
Good to see you all.
Student Rabbi Ari.
It's okay. I won't tell Rabbi Zoe.
Okay, promise?
For those who are just chiming in, welcome and Shabbat Shalom. Check-in question in the chat for those who want to participate, given the theme of tonight's service, is to just share a memory of a time that Jewish music really influenced you or had an impact on your life. It doesn't have to be the most important time or a really big time, just one that stands out to you.
Yep. Hi, Janice. Oops, you're muted.
Janice, you're muted. There, that's better.
I was trying to contain myself here. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Hi, Marla.
Shabbat Shalom.
Susan.
It is wonderful to see all of you here this evening. What a beautiful way for us to return to in person. And so we are going to begin with Sing Unto God. Sing unto God, sing a new song,
Oh, sing praises to God, give thanks to God with a song. Oh, sing praises unto the one above. Let us rejoice, all ye righteous, and cry out to our God with joy. Sing out to your hearts. Oh, sing praises to God. Bless God's name. Oh, sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Bless God's name. Oh, sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Sing unto God, sing a new song. Oh, sing praises to God. Give thanks to God with a song. Oh, sing praises to God.
It's traditional in Jewish life that we honor people's yard sites, but we have chosen to honor Debbie Friedman's birthday to celebrate the joy that she brought into the world. We continue with the words of light these lights as we prepare to light the Shabbat candles. And the words are, "Oh, hear my prayer I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love. Bless them with goodness and mercy and peace." What better way to welcome in Shabbat than holding our loved ones in our hearts, blessing each person we love with goodness, mercy, and peace. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. It's my pleasure to invite Arlen Peavy to light the Shabbat candles for us. And Gigi, thank you.
Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
we continue welcoming Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi. We are on page 138. Please be seated. This melody that we just sang for Lechado D was not written by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory, but it was actually written by Alana Arian, who was a family friend of Debbie Friedman. And when I took a course with Alana Arian, she mentioned what a huge impact that Debbie Friedman had on her, or she just knew her, Debbie. What a concept. It's like having a friend named Barack, last name Obama, no biggie. And she spoke about the fact that when she knew Debbie, she had been doing work in the secular world, creating beautiful music, but not religious music per se, and that Debbie kept on trying to push her in the direction of Jewish music, and thank God that she did, because now we have these wonderful melodies. What a wonderful legacy. And to finish up our Kabbalat Shabbat section, the part that gets us in the spirit of Shabbat and getting us in the Shabbat mood, we sing Shalom Aleichem, and the words are Shalom Aleichem, or Boachem L'Shalom, or Barchuni L'Shalom, and Seitchem L'Shalom. So peace be to you. May you come in peace. May you bless me with peace. And may you go in peace. And that is what Debbie Friedman did for so many of us. She came to us with things that brought us peace. She blessed us with peace. And unfortunately, she was compelled to leave in peace. And her memory, may it be filled with peace and with blessing. We continue with the words of Shalom Aleichem, which is on page, I'm so sorry, 142. Thank you.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei HaShalom, malachei Elyon. Melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue with the words of Baruch Hu on page 146. Please rise in all the ways you are able.
Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai.
Please be seated. We sing the words now of Ahavat Olam on page 150.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael
And with that song of love, we turn to the Shema. The best action we can take to show our love is to listen. This is a melody that was written by Debbie, and the Ve'ahavta that comes shortly after is a translation. And you'll notice that some of the words feel a little different in our mouths. First of all, because they're in English instead of in Hebrew like we usually do. But they also have thys and thous. And when it feels a little different at first. But these were the words that were in the prayer book when she wrote this melody. And so we honor her place and time and the beauty of that melody that stays meaningful to this very day with the words of Shema on page 152 and the translation which you can find on our screen.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Leolam Vaed. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all of thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gate, and upon thy gate, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Student Rabbi Ari, can you share who is going to be doing our reading before Mi Chamocha?
Yes, Joel Stroud has very graciously agreed to read for us.
Thank you.
Singing helps us learn how to be vocal. Ultimately, the voices of women, their sense of empowerment, can be born from song, which can form the core of political, spiritual, and economic transformation. The more our voices are heard in song, the more we become our lyrics, our prayers, and our convictions. Then every woman will be heard and every voice will be heard. Kol Isha, the voice of women, for Kol Isha, every woman. Debbie Friedman, documentary A Journey of Spirit.
Thank you. These were words that Debbie said in a documentary called Journey of the Spirit. And we hear both in the Mi Chamocha, but especially in Miriam's song afterwards, the uplifting of female voices, not just her own, but other women, lifting up Kol Isha, the voice of women or of woman, for Kol Isha, for every woman. We are on page 158. one of my favorites.
So many words.
That is definitely true. It's almost like, you know, when you're doing the hora and sometimes your feet kind of get tripped up with one another. It's kind of like that, but with your words. And it's just as fun even when that happens. And it's such a gift. So
They're making sure that you run through the words so that way when the silence comes with the Amidah, you really appreciate it.
Amen. That's a beautiful way to think about that. Thank you, Student Rabbi Ari. Before we sing the words of Hashkivenu, we call to mind the words Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, spread a shelter of your peace over us. Unfortunately, in our world, we have those who are in special need of a Sukat Shalom, of a shelter of peace. We pray that this Shabbat and moving forward, that our fellow human beings, including our fellow Jews in Ukraine, are able to feel a Sukat Shalom, to truly be protected, and to be able to live without fear for themselves, for their children, for their future. Student Rabbi Ari, do we have someone who will share with us this reading?
Yes, I do. Janice has agreed to read for us.
Thank you, Janice. Janice, you're muted.
My screen was playing tricks, technical difficulties. Hashkivenu, give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you, our true protection, oh my goodness, and safety, and in your presence, our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Thank you, Janice.
Ushmor tzeitenu v'aleinu lechaim u'leshalom me'ata v'ad olam me'ata v'ad olam me'ata v'ad olam Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim Uferos aleinu Sukat shalomecha Me'ata v'ad olam Me'ata v'ad olam Me'ata v'ad olam Ushmor tzeitenu v'aleinu lechaim u'leshalom Me'ata v'ad Me'ata v'ad olam, me'ata v'ad olam, me'ata v'ad olam, me'ata v'ad olam, me'ata v'ad olam.
In Genesis 12, we read the story of Abraham being told to go to a place that God will show him. And we hear the words, Lech Lecha, go. But really, both Lech and Lecha come from the same root, both meaning go. So it's like, surely go, you must go. I am compelling you to go. You must go to this place that I will show you. And you shall be a blessing. Although these are not the words that we are reading in the Torah this week, we, in the Amidah, call to mind our ancestors who God was with on their journeys. And so as we sing Lechi Lach, Lech Lecha, and we bring to mind our ancestors who God was with, we hope that God will be with us too on our journeys. If you would like the words, they're on one, or forget about the words. I think they're 612. I can't quite remember.
You know the words.
They're also on the slide over there. Thank you, Rick. Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Please rise for the Amidah. We are on page 164. Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata l'hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please take a moment for your own silent prayer and be seated when you are ready. Say Shalom Imroma Uya Say Shalom Aleinu Ve'achol Israel Ve'yimeru Amen. it's my pleasure to invite up Cheryl Cohen, who also considered Debbie to be a friend, who is going to share some memories that she has of her.
The Coalition for the Advancement of Jewish Education, CAGE, now called New CAGE, has held conferences across the country and in Israel since 1976. In 1997, less than 2 years after moving here to California, it was held at nearby Stanford, and several of TBT's teachers and students were in attendance, including my oldest two children, Marissa, Jamie, and I. Days for me were filled with workshops from early childhood education to teaching Hebrew using specific curriculum, learning new prayer tunes, and Israel education. Kosher food was served for every meal, not always the best, but I knew I could eat whatever I wanted. Then there were the evening programs, the highlight of each conference, hearing the classic and latest in Jewish music, comedy, and storytelling. Thanks to the skillful signing of the conference ASL interpreters, especially E.J. Cohen, who at the time was on staff here at Temple Beth Torah, the conference was fully accessible to all in attendance, including my daughter Marissa. Marissa was invited to sign a story during the closing program of the conference. Her performance caught the eye of another evening performer, the renowned musician Debbie Friedman. Meeting Debbie that evening and the following day was the beginning of a family friendship that lasted until Debbie's passing 11 years ago. I didn't even make it past the first page. Thank you. We stayed in touch via email, and Debbie invited us to join her in New York that September for her second Carnegie Hall performance. In New York, we met Debbie's close-knit family from across the country, and they treated Marissa and I to a most yummy dinner. In 1998, we returned to New York for Debbie's third concert at Carnegie Hall, and several members of my family came from Philly and friends from across the country to attend as well. On Saturday evening, the night before her second concert, we were in attendance at the most memorable Havdalah ever, as Debbie was on guitar and Carol Revelle in piano in Debbie's lovely apartment on the Upper West Side with family and friends. During that evening, we got to share in Debbie's sense of humor and her kindness. She and Marissa tried to swap jokes with E.J. Cohen interpreting. Deaf jokes do not translate well into English, and English jokes do not translate into ASL, but Debbie kept trying to find one that did. She was determined to make Marissa laugh at one of her jokes. It was a long night. When Marissa did not care for the food that Debbie was serving because she was such a picky eater, Debbie offered to call the deli downstairs. Of course, Marissa could not decide on which of the two of her favorite sandwiches to order. So what did Debbie do? She ordered both. Debbie wanted to give something to Marissa that evening and chose a tambourine that she knew would enable Marissa to feel her music, and that tambourine is here on the back table. After the concert in 1998, I will never forget standing with Debbie outside of Carnegie Hall. She was deciding if she'd take the subway or taxi to her own reception near her home because she forgot to have transportation arranged for herself after the concert. We grabbed a taxi. Most of her family and friends had already headed to the reception and started without her. Through the years, Josh and Ashley joined me in attending the CAGE conferences too, and Debbie got to meet them as well. At the conferences, Debbie taught workshops to musicians and non-musicians alike, eating alongside the attendees, chatting with attendees of all ages, and she was adored by all who met her. For many years, she led the CAGE chorale that consisted of professional and non-professional singers who came together to sing during the closing ceremonies. Josh had the honor of being one of the youngest performers to sing with Debbie, where she acknowledged his talent at a young age. As soon as he was old enough, Josh began to attend Hava Nashira, the yearly song leader conference, in addition to Cage and URJ biennials, when possible, where Debbie continued to teach and mentor him. My family attended all of Debbie's concerts in and around the Bay Area, and she always welcomed us backstage to hug and to chat. For a while, Debbie collected cow items. We would present her with one each time we saw her until she finally said, "I've got enough, thank you very much." During one of her concerts, Josh was in the hospital, and Debbie was so disappointed he wasn't there that after the concert, she grabbed my phone and called him in the hospital. He still talks about receiving that surprise phone call, even though he was only 8 years old at the time. For 2 Cage conferences, I had the honor of co-chairing the evening programming and then being the co-chair of the entire conference. Those opportunities enabled me to be backstage before and during the evening programs and to interact with performers, including Debbie. She would find odd objects backstage and do silly things or tell jokes to the other performers while they were there waiting to perform. There's one picture of Debbie with an apple in her mouth because I was holding it, and she grabbed it and stuck it in her mouth for the picture with Marissa and I, although that wasn't backstage. When my co-chair Iris and I walked into one chorale rehearsal, Debbie stopped the entire rehearsal to thank us for our work and to sing her Angel Blessing song to us. There was not a dry eye between Iris nor I. On the closing program, Iris and I stood with her on stage as she sang Those Who Sow. I will never forget the joy and the honor of those 2 experiences. She always took time to acknowledge those who worked hard behind the scenes. Iris and I had the honor of attending Debbie's last Women's Seder in New York, and that was also a memorable experience. When Cage no longer had conferences, I'd see Debbie less often at the biennials or concerts. Our whole family was blessed to be with her family at the biennial in San Diego when Debbie was honored by the URJ for her lifetime achievement. Debbie and I continue to stay in touch via email, and I still have many of our conversations saved on my computer. Her sister Cheryl was a talented photographer, and she and her mom Frida were here at TBT for Jamie's bar mitzvah in 1998, and we love his bar mitzvah photo album. When Debbie lost her beloved dog Farfel in 2008, my students at the time wrote her messages, and she responded, quote, "I do miss Farfel, who was my everything." When she got her new dog, her sense of humor came through in the naming of her new puppy. She wrote to me, "Today I got a dog. I want to call her Gribbeniz." I also thought about Kishka and Lukshin, but Gribbeniz won out. Jewish musicians and non-musicians alike felt a special kinship to Debbie. She was close to members of the disabled community and the LGBTQ+ community. Debbie tried to keep her personal life and medical challenges out of the public eye, and after her death was even criticized for doing so. She always had E.J. Cohen to interpret at conferences and at as many concerts as possible so that the deaf community could appreciate her music. When Debbie would sing the Misha Baruch in concert, she would say, "This one's for you." And she sang it alone, first as a blessing for those in the audience, and then she'd invite the audience to sing. During her concert, she encouraged singing and dancing, especially during Miriam's song. Every concert ended with Lechi La, with the audience arms holding each other across the aisles. Shalom Aleichem that we sang tonight was the last song Debbie wrote, and it was never published professionally by Debbie. After her passing, a memorial concert was held in San Francisco, and both Joel Siegel and Josh were among the performers, paying tribute by singing some of her repertoire. She is missed by so many, but her music lives on in the next generation of singers and congregants. Josh's CD, Romumu, is dedicated to Debbie. May her memory be for a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing those beautiful memories. You can feel the love exuding from her, can't you? She was beloved by so many, and the love that was dedicated to her, we can feel and benefit from as we hear those memories. May we each be inspired to act as Debbie did, with love and with gratitude towards those who work behind the scenes and making each person feel incredibly important. At this moment, we think of those who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of soul, and healing of spirit. If you have someone who you are thinking of in need of healing, please feel free to type their name in the chat, to hold their name in your heart, or to say their name out loud as my hand passes over your section.
Elliot Hertzberg.
For all those names that we've said aloud, those that we've typed in the chat, and those that we keep in our hearts, we turn to page 371. We continue with Aleinu on page 586. Please rise in all the ways you are able. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liot ser breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kecho hamonam. Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei Please be seated. We take this time to think of those who were blessings in our lives who are no longer with us. This evening, we remember congregants, family members, and community members who have been called to their eternal rest in recent days. Please rise as your loved one's name is read. Harvey Cohen, remembered by James Cohen. Toby Lila Gerhardt, mother of Leslie Strauss. Matthew Farberoff and Camilla Kaldyarova, remembered by Gigi, Alex, and Max Dornfest. Captain Fred Bobbitt of the Fremont Police Department. This Shabbat, we also remember those whose yahrzeit occurred during this past week. Please rise as your loved one's name is read. Ruth Basley, grandmother of Jackie Basley. Iris Ben Bassett, mother of Nancy Hom. Jacob Brodzinski, remembered by Rick Brodzinski. Aaron Elchaim, father of Suzanne Corbett. Bernard Katz, father of Cheryl Cohen. Cy Kieser, father of Stanley Kieser. Jenny Metz, remembered by Karen Bressler. Leon Vermont, husband of Clara Vermont. And Chana Yovel, remembered by student Rabbi Ari Yovel. If you are in your first year of mourning, please rise at this time. And we now rise as a community with our mourners as we turn to page 598 for the words of Mourners Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'it hadar, v'it ale, v'it halal, shemei dekudsha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, to which we say, amen. Thank you. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to invite Rick Brodzinski, our trustee president, to share what's going on in our community. We've got some good stuff coming up.
Let's do it this way. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's not too late to register for the virtual tour of Israel being sponsored by WTBT in celebration of Temple Beth Torah's 60th anniversary. The tours start this Sunday, February 27th, and continue on March 6th and March 13th at 1:30 p.m. Please see our virtual tour of Israel event page for details, pricing, registration, and payment. TBT, in partnership with WTBT, offers scholarships for Jewish summer camps. Applications are now available and due to Rabbi Zoe by this Sunday, February 27th. See the website or weekly email for details and the application. Vote for Temple Beth Torah as Fremont's Best Worship Center 2022. Voting is open through next Thursday, March 3rd. Also, Gan Sameach as Beth's preschool. It would be wonderful for TBT to be recognized as one of Fremont's best during our 60th anniversary year. See yesterday's weekly email for details and the link. We know anti-Semitism has been on the rise, but what is it? Defining and combating anti-Semitism can be difficult because it has taken different forms historically and today. Join us virtually on Thursday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. for the Changing Faces of Anti-Semitism, the second in our program, What You Didn't Learn in Religious School. Please register by Wednesday, March 2nd to receive the Zoom link. The program is open to all ages 12 and up, and a $5 donation to the Education Fund is suggested. We need Hamantaschen bakers. TBT is looking for volunteers to bake at least 24 Hamantaschen each by Friday, March 11th. Recipes are available upon request, or you can use your own favorite one. Please email communications@bethtorah-fremont.org with questions or to register by Wednesday, March 2nd, and let us know how many and what kinds you'll be making. The 60 by 60 Green Challenge, you should participate in it. For more information, check out our social action page. TBT now has a Shabbat playlist on both Spotify and YouTube. These resources will be available for all community members to access and listen to as part of your own transitions into this sacred time. If you have other songs you listen to on Fridays or Saturdays that put you in a restful, restorative Shabbat headspace, please share them with student Rabbi Ari. We're still looking for more people to learn how to use our new AV equipment and to operate it at services. If you're interested, please contact me. And thank you to Cheryl Cohen for sponsoring tonight's blessings, Lori Ravenscroft and Susan Amaro for representing the worship committee, and to Alan Eisenbruck for helping with the tech, and student Rabbi Ari for doing the slides. Shabbat Shalom.
And I would like to personally, from the absolute bottom of my heart, thank our very own music person with us, Michelle Eisenbruck. Without her, this evening wouldn't have had half of the ruach that we had. So absolutely, thank you so, so much. It's the first time that we've gotten to lead a service together. It felt like a wonderful Shehachiyanu moment. So I'm glad you were all able to be here with us for this important moment.
My pleasure.
And also, as always, thank you to Rick for all of the things that he does for our community. And now we come to some blessings. It's always good to be grateful. And so we'll start off with our family blessings. I encourage you to reach out to family, whether it's your family, your chosen family, people who are sitting next to you who you're feeling connected to. If you are on Zoom and you are not with other people in the same room, I encourage you to close your eyes and think of those who you are sending blessings to. And we share this blessing. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine God's face upon you and be gracious to you. May God's face turn to you and grant you peace, to which we all say,
Amen.
Amen. We continue with Kiddush, which can be found on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. And as a reminder for people in person, the light color is grape juice, the dark color is wine for when we are finished with services. And for our motzi, we have a challah. We got to switch it up every once in a while. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Also, I realized we didn't thank Mara either. Thank you to Mara for being here and for helping with all the things that you help out with at the temple. So we are going to close out with words inspired by Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6. Not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat. I'll get the ending next time. And Shabbat Shalom to all of our friends who are on Zoom. Thank you so much for being here this evening. We felt you in spirit, and we're so glad you are with us too.
Shabbat Shalom.